Here's a video recap of Memorial Day weekend 2013, where I was on track 3 times: Thursday, May the 23rd, Saturday, May the 25th, and Monday, Memorial Day, the 27th. For the 3-day time period, I had 79 selections and I won 26 times. That's nearly a third of the time, and I was in the money 2/3 of the time. But the story of the 3-day weekend had to be the fact that my best bets on most of the days did not run to expectations, and so the bottom line was not what I had wanted it to be. But cashed a lot of tickets, the handicapping was solid. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. On Thursday, I was an excellent 9 for 20, that's 45%, as I scored at several different tracks. I scored with my first selection at Churchill Downs with Excessiveness. He was the favorite in the opener at Churchill. I scored in the opener at Belmont, where Bella at Pock looked to be the lone speed, and she went wire to wire. Then at Calder, in their second race, I went with Miss Bloomfield High, first off the claim for Kirksey 80 and Team Calabrese. Much the best as the favorite. I doubled the bet on Miss Bloomfield. After running second in an optional claiming with the big favorite at Belmont in the second, big screen, I came right back to score with number 7 Teardrop in a maiden special weight 2-year-old race at Churchill Downs. But as they broke out of the gate, I thought it was all over as Teardrop blew the brake.
And they're off, and Teardrop broke slowly. Fastest away.
As they came around the far turn heading for home, she blew the turn as well, but then proved much the best.
Teardrop has gone right round the outside of the field, but she's there now with every chance. Back in third, Red Grass Cat. In fourth, the inside, Scooter's Choice. Down now towards the final furlong. It is Teardrop down the outside, goes on by a length. She's Coal-Fired is back in second. In third, Red Grass Cat. They're racing up towards the line. Teardrop, well, she went right round the outside of the field, but she is much the
I ran
best.
second at Calder in their 4th race before I scored again at Churchill Downs. Although Bernata looked to be well out of it at the top of the stretch, went off at a nice 2-1, nearly 5-2, but she was near the back of the pack and then hit high gear down the lane.
Music in the house towards the outside of Arbiter. These are still the first two, followed by Midnight Music in third. Down the outside, Cotton One in fourth, and then Bimata now beginning to pick up the pieces late inside the final furlong, and it's still Music in the house. Arbiter on the inside, down the outside, Midnight Music, and here's Bimata, the last and latest on the scene. Music in the house, Bimata on the outside, Bimata.
And then in the 7th, I scored at Calder. It had been my best bet of the day, where I liked Wickersham, but Wickersham scratched out of the race. So I looked it over, and there were another scratch, and it looked to me like Majestic Express, another Team Calabrese horse, looked to be loose on the lead. She stalked the pace, and as they turned for home, she proved much the best, and I had doubled the bet on Majestic Express. Before I scored again at Calder in their 8th. It was scheduled to be on the turf, but my selection was a main track only. I like number 5 Swingers Party, who had faced stakes winners Live Lively and Emollient at Gulfstream, and there was no one like that in this race. She went right to the front and was long gone. In the 8th at Churchill was my best of the day under the Twin Spires. Looked to have a big class edge in this starter allowance, and she had a sharp bullet work, string of 90 by her speed figures. She was also Byron King's best bet of the day. As they turned for home, Ghost is Clear began to pour it on.
Second, Ghost is Clear. Sieta staying on now, back in third, followed by Leobe. They hit the furlong marker. Ghost is Clear, goes on and goes clear now by the best part of 3 lengths. Homeboy Chris stays on well down the outside with Tibbon and Sieta, but cruising home. Ghost is Clear. Ghost
Turning the
is
page
clear.
now to Saturday, May the 25th. The day got started on a winning note, as the very first selection on my page was at Churchill Downs. Denali Holy Bull proved much the best as the odds-on favorite. And then I missed at Calder, where I was second. Couldn't get by the leader in spite of being the favorite. I ran 5th at 4 to 5 at Woodbine, where my horse, a 2-year-old, blew the break. And then I was 2nd again at Belmont, where I could not get by the leader. But my second winner of the day came in the second race at Calder. We were on the turf today. Number 4, Starship Wildcat. Starship Wildcat had the best speed figures, but they were all in turf sprints. Today we were going 7.5 furlongs. I just wasn't willing to invest that much, but he was well bet. I looked at it again. Tomlinson number said he could get the distance, and so I decided to double the bet, and he proved a handy winner. And then at Monmouth was my best bet of the day there. I like number 6, Pro Prospect. Looked to be the main speed. He seemed to love the slot as he opened up quickly, and as they turned for home, he just cruised
into the
home.
stretch, and it's a runaway. It's Pro Prospect 10 lengths out in front, leaving the others reeling behind. Xanthos is taken second from Came Back, but it's all Pro Prospect, and Elvis Trujillo did not even ask him to run today. Pro Prospect, complete domination at 3 to 5, wins over Xanthos and Came Back.
Third at Woodbine was next, and then I ran off a streak of 3 wins in a row. First at Belmont, where I scored with Love to Run, paid over $8. The fourth at Churchill, where Future Prospect paid almost $9, and then capped the trifecta of wins. And the second at Arlington, where Richie's Sweetheart went wire to wire as the favorite in a 2-year-old maiden special weight for Larry Ravelli. And then I scored again in the 5th at Belmont, where Terminus, in a main trick only entry, went off as the favorite and proved to be the winner. So as I'm getting ready to head for home, my 2 best bets of the day. The Memorial Day handicap, I like Chaba at Calder, and at Hollywood, the Grade 2 American handicap, I like obviously to wire the field. I went 30 to win on Chaba, stalked the pace to the far turn, and then
Chaba from between horses goes on for the wire. It's Chaba from Mega Move, decisive moment, kicking with Chaba as they come down to the final furlong. Chaba just the leader, decisive moment, trying to fight back down along the inside. These two come to the final 16th, and Chaba's doing the better work. Chaba, Manuel Cruz in front in the Memorial Handicap, and they'll win it by over 2.
oh yeah, that is nice. Got back nearly $50. Nearly simultaneously, obviously left the gate at Hollywood Park. Looked to get the front end in spite of a lot of speed, but they let him have the lead, which was just a big mistake. As I walked in from the rail after watching Chaba, obviously was hitting the far turn well in front.
Obviously has had it easy to the quarter pole, and his high cruising speed lands him in front by 2.5 lengths from Barachi in second. Lucayan's about to take third, drill to the outside, turning for home, and obviously now is sprinting past mid-stretch, and he leads by 4 lengths. Obviously is in front. Barachi, Lucayan running a very nice race, but obviously has given him the slip, and obviously is going to win the 74th American Handicap. Obviously.
$50 to win on obviously. Woo, dogs, that was nice. I scored 2 more times from my late races at Woodbine. I scored with number 3 Power Phil, doubled the bet on him. I missed in the Grade 3 Louisville Handicap, and I closed out my winners in the 4th at Hollywood when Say Al surprised the field at $8.60. And in the last race of the day, which was the difference between a win and a loss, I like number 2 Vagabond Shoes. Oh, so close, photo finish. The second at Arlington, Anna the Dance, was the heavy favorite, lagging in the back, and as they turned for home, no, didn't look like it, but I kept saying to myself, stretch runners do well at Arlington, and then, uh-oh, here came Anne of the Dance.
Spanish Ambassador on the edge of the furlong pole. Spanish Ambassador getting those left-handers. Spanish Ambassador, tail waving to Barry Knoll. Anne of the Dance now being delivered by Channing Hill. Blue 40 at that one pace. Here comes Anne of the Dance. Anne of the Dance, the odds on. Anne of the Dance on top at 3 to 5.
Third at Arlington, I like Richie's Thundering Gal. I thought another Larry Ravelli horse looked to go right to the front, and indeed she won. And then at Belmont, was Dave Lifton's best bet of the day. I was originally going to pass the race, and then he liked the horse, and I thought, you know what? If Dave says it, then I'll go along with Dave. And sure enough, Ornelia proved to be much the best, and I got back nearly $25. Way to go, Dave. Then at Belmont, I got my next winner. It was a surprise winner. It was the Grade 1 Ogden Phipps. So I looked over the field. It looked to me like Tiz Miss Sue had the credentials to win. She had trouble in her last race, and she was the only horse in the field with multiple triple buyers. I thought if she ran a big race today, she had a chance. She was stalking the leaders turning for home. Oh yeah, paid $10.80. Wish I would have gone more in on that. Got back nearly $30. And then my best bet of the day came at Hollywood Park. It was the first of their 2 graded stakes. It was a Grade 3 Los Angeles handicap. And it looked like it was going to be a heavy speed duel between my horse, Comet to the Top, and a Bob Baffert lightly raced horse. But then he scratched. Wow, that left Comet to the Top loose on the lead. And as they turned for home, even though he was on the wrong lead, he cruised to victory, and I got back nearly $35. But then in probably the most exciting race of the weekend, it was my final race of the weekend. It was the Grade 1 Gamely Handicap going 1 1/8 miles on the turf at Hollywood Park. I really like Lady of Shamrock, one of my favorite horses, but she had lost her season opener, and then she won the second race when I had her, although she was interfered with, but neither of those came back with big speed figures. Instead, I went with Marketing Mix. Marketing Mix, any of her last 3 Beyer speed figures would have beat career best. The problem was she hadn't run since Breeders' Cup Day. She was facing 3 or 4 solid horses, including Tiz Flirtatious and Lady of Shamrock. As they turned for home, Hall of Famer Gary Stevens had her between horses, and then a thrilling stretch duel.
Right up at the top of the stretch, Miss Elena's gone. Lady of Shamrock is still 5 from the front end. Tiz Flirtatious has taken over the lead. Marketing Mix goes right with her, and these two are now right together as 16th out. Tiz Flirtatious, Marketing Mix through from the inside. Marketing Mix, Tiz Flirtatious, gonna be a nose. Marketing Mix, Tiz Flirtatious.
Photo finish! Oh yeah, but she prevailed. I got back nearly $40 to close out the weekend. So for the weekend, I had the good winning percentages, just didn't seem to cash on the horses where I had the most money invested. Turn the page to June next weekend, start off the 3rd month of the summer season, and soon we'll be off to Downs After Dark on June 15th with 17 of our family and friends, then off to Alaska. And then by the time we get into late July, it'll be time for the Saratoga Handicapping Project.